Everything you want in life, freedom, success, respect, and peace of mind, doesn't come from luck, talent, or waiting for the right moment. It comes from the choices you make every single day. Most people chase results, push themselves hard, and burn out without ever reaching the life they dream of. They set goals, feel motivated for a week or two, then give up when obstacles appear. That's why so many people struggle to achieve what they truly want. The difference between those who reach their dreams and those who don't isn't effort, it's systems. Systems are the invisible structures that guide your actions, keep you consistent, and make success inevitable. They turn chaos into clarity. They turn uncertainty into progress. When you build the right system, you no longer rely on fleeting motivation or luck. Every action you take starts to compound. Every day becomes a step forward, no matter how small it seems. Think about it. What if achieving your goals wasn't a struggle? What if every day you woke up with a clear plan, a routine that naturally pushes you toward success, and habits that take the guesswork out of progress? What if instead of reacting to life, you were in control, shaping your future with precision and consistency? That's the power of a well-built system. This isn't theory. This is how the most successful people in the world operate. They don't hope for inspiration. They don't wait for motivation. They create structures in their life that ensure their actions align with their ambitions. They don't work harder, they work smarter. They don't rely on willpower alone. They rely on systems that carry them forward day after day. By the end of this video, you will understand exactly how to build these systems in your own life. You'll learn how to organize your actions, manage your time, and design routines that make success predictable. You'll see how small, consistent steps can compound into massive results. And most important, you'll discover how to take control of your future so that achieving your goals is no longer a hope, but a guarantee. Your journey to the life you want starts now. The decisions you make today, the system you put in place, will determine everything about your tomorrow. This is your opportunity to stop leaving success to chance and start designing a life where results are automatic, consistent, and your future begins with the system you build today. Number 1, understand the difference between goals and systems. When people talk about achieving their dreams, they usually bring up goals. They say they want to lose weight, earn more money, start a business, or build better relationships. Goals sound exciting because they give you a picture of the future. They make you feel motivated for a moment. But if you've ever set a goal and failed to reach it, you probably realize something important. Having a goal is not enough. You need more than just a dream written down. You need a structure, a process, a system that takes you from where you are to where you want to be. The difference between goals and systems is simple but powerful. A goal is the destination. A system is the road you travel every day. A goal says, I want to be healthy. A system is eating balanced meals, exercising regularly, and sleeping well. A goal says, I want to make more money. A system is creating a budget, improving your skills, and finding ways to add more value to the marketplace. Without a system, a goal is just a wish. With a system, even if progress is slow, you are moving forward in a direction that produces real results. Think about it this way. People often fail, not because their goals were wrong, but because they didn't have the right systems in place to support them. You can set a goal to read 50 books in a year. That goal feels exciting on day one. But the person who actually reaches that milestone is not the one who just wrote the number down. It's the one who builds the habit of reading 20 or 30 minutes every day. The system makes the goal possible. Without it, you'll end up excited for a few weeks and then quit when life gets busy. The mistake most people make is focusing only on the big picture and ignoring the small daily actions. They wait for motivation, hoping it will carry them through. But motivation fades. Systems keep going. A system doesn't ask how you feel today. It just moves you forward step by step. That's why people who achieve lasting success always pay more attention to their systems than their temporary feelings. They know that success is not built in a moment. It's built in consistent actions, stacked day after day. When you understand this, you stop relying on luck and emotion. You start relying on discipline, structure, and steady effort. This shift is life-changing because it takes success out of the realm of chance and puts it firmly in your control. You don't need to hope things work out anymore. You design a path that makes progress inevitable. You no longer say, I hope I achieve my goal. Instead, you say, if I follow this system, it will happen. That kind of certainty gives you confidence and stability. You can see this principle in every area of life. An athlete doesn't win a championship just by setting a goal to win. They create a training system that builds their strength, skill, and endurance every day. A student doesn't graduate at the top of the class because they wrote down the dream of being number one. They create a study system that breaks lessons into manageable steps, reviews regularly, and prepares them for each exam. A business doesn't grow because the owner dreamed about success. It grows because systems were put in place for sales, marketing, customer service, and leadership. The beauty of systems is that they take the pressure off the big picture and bring your attention to what you can do today. You don't need to worry about running the whole marathon in one day. All you need is the system of training daily, eating right, and staying consistent. Over time, the system carries you to the finish line. This approach removes the overwhelm that stops most people. When you see a huge goal, it feels too far away. But when you follow a system, you only focus on the next step, and that makes the journey manageable. Another reason systems are so important is that they protect you from inconsistency. Many people start strong but lose steam after a few weeks. A system makes sure that even when energy is low, you still take action. You might not always feel like doing the work, but when the system is built into your day, it becomes easier to stick with it. Over time, the system becomes a part of who you are. It's no longer something you have to force. It turns into a rhythm of life that produces results naturally. When you build systems, you create freedom. At first, it might feel strict or demanding, but as the system becomes part of your lifestyle, it actually makes life easier. You don't waste energy thinking about what to do next. You don't live in confusion or hesitation. You already know the steps, you follow the process, you trust the system, and it gives you the outcome. This reduces stress, saves time, and gives you control over your progress. So if you want to achieve your goals, start by shifting your focus. Stop only thinking about the end result and start designing the system that will take you there. So ask yourself, what habits, routines, and structures will support the outcome I want? What daily actions can I build that make success a natural result, not a constant struggle? Once you answer those questions and put the system in place, you'll notice something powerful. You no longer have to chase your goals. The system will carry you toward them, step by step. Your future depends not on how big your goals are, but on how strong your systems are. Anyone can dream big, but only those who create systems turn those dreams into reality. If you want lasting success, don't just set goals. Build systems that make achieving those goals unavoidable. Day after day, action after action, your system will shape your future and make your vision a reality. Number 2, start with clear and specific outcomes. When you think about outcomes, most people make the mistake of being vague. They say things like, I want to be successful, or I want to be healthier, or I want to make more money. These statements sound good, but they don't give you anything solid to work with. If you don't define exactly what you want, you'll drift. You'll work hard, but your efforts will scatter in different directions. Clarity is power. Without clarity, energy gets wasted. With clarity, every action becomes sharper and more effective. A clear outcome means you know exactly what you're aiming for. If you say, I want to be healthier, what does that actually mean? Does it mean losing 10 pounds, lowering your blood pressure, or exercising 3 times a week? If you say, I want to earn more money, how much do you want to earn? Is it an extra $500 a month or doubling your yearly income? If you say, I want better relationships, what does that look like? More quality time with your family, meeting new people, improving your communication with your partner? Specificity gives direction. When you know exactly what the outcome looks like, your brain starts working differently. Instead of holding on to a fuzzy dream, you hold on to a target. And once you have a target, you can build a system that leads you there. Without a target, your system has no purpose. With a target, your system becomes a tool designed to deliver results. Imagine someone who says, "I want to save money." That goal is too vague. How will they know if they're making progress? Compare that to someone who says, "I will save $5,000 in the next 12 months." That person can now build a system, setting aside a certain amount every week, tracking expenses, and adjusting habits. The second person has clarity, and that clarity makes the path visible. Specific outcomes also give you motivation. When you see exactly what you're working toward, it feels real. You're no longer chasing something abstract. You're chasing something you can see, measure, and eventually hold in your hands. That kind of motivation doesn't fade as quickly because it's tied to something tangible. Every small action feels meaningful because you know exactly how it connects to the bigger picture. Another benefit of defining clear outcomes is that it eliminates excuses. When your outcome is vague, you can trick yourself into believing you're making progress when you're not. But when your outcome is measurable, the truth is in front of you. You either moved closer to it or you didn't. This honesty can be uncomfortable, but it's necessary. It keeps you accountable. It forces you to stay disciplined and make adjustments when needed. When setting outcomes, it's important to balance ambition with realism. If your outcome is too small, you won't feel challenged. If it's too big and unrealistic for your current stage, you'll get discouraged. The sweet spot is an outcome that stretches you beyond your comfort zone, but is still achievable with consistent effort. This balance pushes you to grow without overwhelming you to the point of quitting. Clear outcomes also save you from distractions. Life will always present you with new opportunities, challenges, and temptations. If you don't know where you're going, you'll be pulled in every direction. But when your outcome is specific, you can quickly evaluate whether something is helping you move closer or pulling you away. This focus keeps you on track, even when life gets noisy. Once you've defined your outcome, write it down. Writing makes it more concrete. Keep it where you can see it daily. A note on your desk, a card in your wallet, or a reminder on your phone. Seeing it every day keeps it alive in your mind and strengthens your commitment. The more clearly you can visualize it, the more naturally your decisions will align with it. Remember, without clear outcomes, systems can't work effectively. A system needs a direction. You wouldn't build a map without knowing the destination. The same is true in life. Once you have a clear, specific outcome, your system becomes the map that gets you there. Every action, every routine, and every habit now has purpose. The truth is, success doesn't start with hard work alone. It starts with clarity. Once you know exactly what you want, then the hard work becomes meaningful. Then the sacrifices feel worth it. Then the system makes sense. When you set clear outcomes, you stop wandering and start moving with intention. And that shift is the foundation of achieving anything you truly want. Number 3, break big goals into daily action steps. Big goals can feel exciting at first, but if you only keep them in your head as something huge, they quickly turn into pressure. The weight of a big goal without a plan often leads to hesitation, and hesitation leads to no progress at all. The real secret to achieving any meaningful goal is learning how to break it down into small, daily action steps that you can actually manage. When you shrink a massive vision into clear steps, you remove the feeling of being overwhelmed and replace it with steady progress. Think about how most people approach goals. They say they want to write a book, start a business, or lose a certain amount of weight. Those are big and inspiring goals, but they stop right there. They carry the picture in their mind, but they don't create a process for reaching it. Without small actions tied to each day, the dream stays in the future. It's always someday, never today. That's why so many goals get abandoned. They're too far away, too blurry, and too heavy to carry without breaking them into manageable pieces. Daily steps create movement. If your goal is to write a book, don't focus on finishing the entire thing at once. Focus on writing 1 page each day. A page a day doesn't sound like much, but in a year, you'd have 300 pages. If your goal is to get fit, don't obsess over the total weight you want to lose. Focus on 1 healthy meal, 1 workout, 1 glass of water at a time. Over weeks and months, those small steps transform your body and your energy. If your goal is financial freedom, don't get lost in the big number you want to save. Start with setting aside a small percentage every time you earn. Those tiny deposits add up, and they build discipline along the way. Breaking down goals also helps your mind. When you focus only on the end result, the distance between where you are now and where you want to be can feel discouraging. But when you bring your focus down to what you can do today, you gain momentum. You stop comparing your current situation to the final picture. Instead, you compare it to yesterday. That's where progress becomes real. You're not trying to leap a mountain. You're just taking 1 step higher than you did the day before. Consistency is built in these daily steps. Success isn't about doing something massive one time. It's about doing small things repeatedly until the outcome is unavoidable. Small steps repeated every day turn into powerful habits, and those habits form the system that drives your life forward. By breaking your goals into daily actions, you design a life where growth is automatic because your system keeps you moving even on days when motivation fades. Another powerful part of daily action is accountability. If your goal is broken down into daily steps, you can measure whether or not you did them. Did you exercise today? Did you save that amount today? Did you study for an hour today? This type of accountability is simple but effective because it removes excuses. Either you did it or you didn't. There's no place to hide, no vague progress to get lost in. Each day becomes an opportunity to succeed or to learn, and tomorrow gives you another chance to do better. Daily steps also allow you to make adjustments faster. If you only measure progress once in a while, you may not notice mistakes until they've cost you a lot of time. But when you're working with daily actions, you can see immediately what's working and what isn't. You can course correct quickly. You can replace actions that aren't serving your goal with ones that do. This constant adjustment keeps your system sharp and effective. There's also a psychological effect to small wins. Every time you complete a daily step, you get a sense of accomplishment. These small wins add up and build confidence. Confidence then fuels more action, and more action fuels more results. Before long, you develop momentum, and momentum is what makes the process easier. It starts to feel natural to work on your goals because progress becomes part of your daily rhythm. Breaking down goals doesn't just make them achievable, it makes them enjoyable. Instead of carrying the burden of a huge, far-off dream, you get the satisfaction of finishing something every day. You start to feel successful before the big result shows up. That feeling of daily achievement keeps your energy alive, and it prevents you from burning out. At the end of the day, achieving a big goal isn't about making one giant leap. It's about thousands of small, consistent steps. When you break big goals into daily action steps, you create a system that guarantees progress. It may not be fast, but it's steady, and steady progress always beats random bursts of effort. One step at a time, one day at a time, you build a life where your goals stop being dreams and start becoming reality. Number 4, create a routine that supports your vision. Success doesn't just come from what you do once, in a while. It comes from what you do every single day. Your routine is either lifting you toward your vision or quietly pulling you away from it. The truth is, your habits and your daily structure matter far more than your occasional bursts of motivation. If your routine is designed with purpose, success becomes almost automatic. But if your days are random, unplanned, and driven only by how you feel in the moment, you will struggle to move forward no matter how big your dreams are. Think about it. Every person has Arthur-Seith hours in a day. The difference between those who rise and those who stay stuck is not the amount of time, but how they use it. The successful learn to structure their days around their vision. They create a framework where their most important goals are built into their routine. That's why their progress looks steady. It's not because they're lucky or always motivated, but because their system keeps them aligned. A routine is powerful because it removes unnecessary decisions. If you start your day without a plan, you waste energy figuring out what to do next. But when your routine is in place, you don't think about whether or not you should do the important night work. You just do it because it's built into your day. For example, if your vision is to write, you schedule time every morning or evening to write. If your vision is health, you schedule your workouts and meals in advance. If your vision is financial success, you schedule time to review your spending, invest, or learn about money. Once it becomes part of your daily rhythm, it's no longer up for debate. Routines also protect your energy. Without structure, you'll spend your best hours on low-value activities, scrolling, distractions, or reacting to other people's demands. But when you own your routine, you control where your energy goes. You give your best hours to your vision and your goals. You leave distractions for later, when your main work is already complete. This one shift, protecting your prime time, can completely change your results. The key to building a strong routine is to align it with your priorities. Many people say they want success, but their routines don't reflect it. They want wealth, but they don't dedicate time to building skills or creating value. They want health, but their daily routine is full of late nights, poor food, and no exercise. They want meaningful relationships, but they don't schedule quality time with the people they care about. A routine forces you to face the truth. If it's not in your daily life, it's not really a priority. Start simple. Design a morning routine that sets your tone for the day. This might include exercise, journaling, reading, prayer, or focused work on your most important goal. Then build an evening routine that helps you reflect, recharge, and prepare for the next day. The morning primes your energy, the evening resets your mind. Together, they create a powerful cycle of progress. A routine also gives you discipline without forcing you to rely on willpower. Willpower fades. It's not something you can count on every day. But when your routine becomes a habit, it feels natural. You don't need to push yourself as hard because your system carries you forward. Think of it like brushing your teeth. You don't debate it every night, you just do it. That's the power of a routine built around your vision. Finally, remember that routines don't have to be perfect to be effective. Many people give up because they miss a day or two. But success isn't about being perfect. It's about consistency. If you miss, get back on track quickly. Don't abandon the routine because of one mistake. Over time, the consistency of your routine shapes your identity. You begin to see yourself as someone who is disciplined, focused, and committed to your vision. That identity fuels even stronger habits, creating a cycle that makes success inevitable. At the end of the day, you don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your routines. If your routine supports your vision, you'll keep climbing. If it doesn't, you'll keep stumbling. The choice is in your hands every single day. Design your routine with purpose, and it will carry you to the life you've been dreaming of. Number 5, build habits that work automatically. The secret to lasting success is not found in grand achievements, but in the small actions you repeat without even thinking. Habits are powerful because they take the effort out of discipline. Once something becomes a habit, you no longer wrestle with the decision of whether to do it. You just do it, naturally, like breathing. That's the point where success stops depending on how motivated you feel that day and starts flowing automatically through the structure of your life. Every habit you build is like a vote for the person you're becoming. If you want to be healthier, the habit of choosing water over soda every day is a quiet but powerful step. If you want financial independence, the habit of saving before spending will shape your future more than any sudden windfall. If you want meaningful relationships, the habit of listening with attention will create bonds that last. It's the accumulation of small, automatic habits that forms the foundation for major results. The process of building habits doesn't happen overnight. At first, every action feels uncomfortable, maybe even unnatural. Waking up early when you're used to staying up late feels like a battle. choosing to read instead of reaching for your phone feels like resistance. But the key is to push through that initial discomfort until your brain rewires itself. Science calls this the process of creating new neural pathways. What starts as a struggle slowly becomes a routine and then eventually becomes who you are. The real danger comes from underestimating the power of bad habits. Just as good habits carry you forward, bad habits quietly pull you back. They feel harmless in the moment, but they accumulate into wasted years and missed opportunities. Scrolling for hours each night, spending money you don't have, skipping small responsibilities, these may seem like small acts, but over time they build a system of failure. That's why awareness is critical. You can't build the life you want if you're still attached to the habits that destroy it. So, to create habits that work automatically, start with 1 or 2 simple actions tied directly to your vision. Don't overwhelm yourself by trying to change everything at once. Anchor the habit to something you already do every day. For example, if you want to build the habit of gratitude, practice it right after brushing your teeth in the morning. If you want to drink more water, set a glass on your desk as part of your work setup. These anchors help you connect the new behavior with something already familiar, making it easier to repeat. Consistency is more important than intensity. Many people try to change their lives by doing too much too soon. They go from never exercising to running 5 miles every day. They go from never saving to cutting all spending overnight. That kind of intensity doesn't last because it burns out your willpower. What creates lasting change is small, consistent steps that you can sustain for months and years. Once the habit sticks, you can increase the intensity gradually. Rewards also play a role in making habits automatic. The brain craves positive reinforcement. When you attach satisfaction to a new habit, it becomes more enjoyable and you're more likely to repeat it. This doesn't mean rewarding yourself with things that undo your progress, but finding ways to celebrate progress. Trekking your streaks, feeling proud of your discipline, or simply acknowledging your effort can create that internal reward. Over time, the habit itself becomes the reward because it reinforces your identity and your vision. Another key is to design your environment to make habits easier. If you want to eat healthier, keep nutritious food in the house and remove junk food. If you want to read more, keep books within reach instead of hiding them on a shelf. If you want to exercise, keep your workout clothes visible and ready. Habits thrive in environments that support them. By removing friction, you make it easier for the habit to take root. Habits are the bridge between goals and results. They don't require constant motivation, and they don't drain your energy the way willpower does. Once they're in place, they free your mind for higher level thinking. You no longer struggle with the basics. Instead, you can focus on growing, creating, and contributing. That's the beauty of habits. They automate the fundamentals so you can pour your energy into bigger dreams. In the end, success is not built in a single moment. It's built through hundreds of small actions that become automatic. Each habit is a silent builder of your future, working in the background, shaping your identity, and creating your results. Build habits that align with your vision, and they will carry you to the life you want, even on the days you feel tired, unmotivated, or distracted. When your habits work for you, success no longer depends on chance. It becomes inevitable. Number 6, use deadlines to create urgency. One of the greatest reasons people fall short of their goals is that they keep giving themselves endless time. Without deadlines, a dream remains just an idea floating in the air, waiting for tomorrow, and then tomorrow turns into weeks, months, and years. The truth is, without a clear finish line, you'll keep putting off the very things that would change your life. Deadlines bring urgency, and urgency brings focus. They force you to stop drifting and start moving with purpose. Think about how people perform when there's a deadline. A student with a paper due at midnight will write with speed and concentration. An employee with a project due at the end of the day will push distractions aside and get it done. But when there's no deadline, when it's open-ended, the same person will keep delaying, telling themselves they'll do it later. That's the power of time pressure. It sharpens your attention and pushes you to act. Without it, your goals remain stuck in the land of someday. The mistake many people make is setting deadlines that are too far away. They think giving themselves more time will make success easier, but it usually has the opposite effect. A distant deadline kills urgency. The brain relaxes, procrastination sneaks in, and before you know it, the final date arrives with little progress made. Shorter deadlines create stronger urgency. They make you act now, not later. Even if the deadline feels tight, it forces you to move faster and cut through excuses. Deadlines also teach discipline. When you live with deadlines, you learn to respect your time and structure your days. You stop wasting hours on meaningless activities because you know every hour has a cost. If the deadline is approaching, every moment you waste pushes success further out of reach. That awareness builds discipline naturally. Deadlines don't just push you to finish tasks. They shape the way you live. But here's something important. A deadline without accountability is easy to ignore. You can keep extending it, telling yourself you'll finish later. That's why you need to attach consequences to your deadlines. If you promise to finish a project by the end of the week, make it public. Tell a friend, a mentor, or a colleague. If you fail, you not only disappoint yourself, but you also break your word. That extra layer of accountability increases the pressure, making the deadline feel real. Deadlines also reveal your priorities. When the clock is ticking, you suddenly realize what matters most. The unimportant tasks fall away because you don't have time to waste. You start focusing on the essentials. In that sense, deadlines act as a filter, stripping away distractions and showing you where to direct your energy. Without them, it's easy to stay busy with low-value work and fool yourself into thinking you're productive. With them, you focus on what truly moves you forward. When you set deadlines, be specific. Don't just say, I'll finish my book this year. Say, I'll finish the first draft by March Sensor E Saint. Don't just say, I'll lose weight. Say, I'll lose 10 pounds by June Sure Wooth. Specific dates create real urgency. They give your mind a clear finish line to work toward. Vague timelines are soft and forgettable, but precise ones stick in your head and push you every day. It's also important to remember that deadlines are not meant to be perfect. Sometimes you'll miss them. Sometimes life will get in the way. But even when you fall short, the deadline still moves you further than you would have gone without it. The date forces you to take action you might have postponed indefinitely. Missing a deadline doesn't mean failure. It means you now have a clearer picture of what's required, and you can reset and keep moving forward. When you build systems around your goals, deadlines should be part of the structure. They keep your system alive and moving. Without them, your system loses power. With them, your system gains energy, urgency, and direction. Deadlines are not the enemy. They're the fuel that drives you toward achievement. They create the pressure that sharpens your focus and forces you to act now, not tomorrow. The reality is, time doesn't wait for anyone. Every day that passes without action is a day you'll never get back. Deadlines remind you of this truth. They remind you that the window of opportunity doesn't stay open forever. They remind you that life is short and your goals matter. When you live with deadlines, you stop wasting your days and you start building the future you want with urgency, discipline, and purpose. Number 7, design an environment that pushes you forward. Your environment shapes almost everything about the way you live and work. The people you surround yourself with, the space you inhabit, the tools you use, and even the sounds and sights around you all influence your mindset, your energy, and your actions. If your goal is to achieve more, to grow, and to reach higher, then your environment must support that. It has to be deliberately designed to push you forward, not hold you back. Think about it. If you're trying to focus on building a skill, learning a new craft, or starting a business, and you spend most of your time in an environment full of distractions, doubts, or negativity, how far can you realistically go? The people who constantly complain, the clutter that surrounds you, the endless noise from devices, all of that drags your energy down. It steals your focus, saps your motivation, and makes it harder to follow through on the systems you're trying to build. A strong environment works like a force multiplier. It makes your actions more effective. For example, if you want to write a quiet space with no interruptions, good lighting, and the tools you need makes it easier to sit down and produce consistently. If you want to get fit, having a gym, equipment, or even just a routine space where you can exercise consistently removes excuses. Your environment either encourages your goals or undermines them. It rarely sits neutral. Remove the unnecessary clutter, not just physical clutter, but mental and digital clutter too. Every unnecessary distraction pulls you away from focus. If your desk is messy, your mind is messy. If your phone is constantly buzzing with notifications, your attention is fractured. If your digital spaces are disorganized, your workflow suffers. Simplifying and organizing your environment frees up mental space and energy to focus on what matters most. Environment also includes the routines and habits embedded in your daily life. The small decisions you make consistently, like what time you wake up, how you schedule your day, what you prioritize first, create the backdrop for your success. Build a system where your environment naturally nudges you toward the behaviors that align with your goals. For instance, if your goal is to read more, keep books in places where you can see and reach them easily. If your goal is to save money, design your financial environment to automatically set aside funds before you even touch them. Don't ignore the power of external influences. The media you consume, the conversations you engage in, and the content you feed your mind directly impact your thinking and motivation. Surround yourself with positive messages, educational content, and stories of people who have achieved what you aspire to. Avoid content that drags you into negativity or self-doubt. Your environment includes your mind's intake. What you focus on, mentally is just as important as the physical space you occupy. Small changes in your environment can have huge ripple effects. A single adjustment in your workspace, a single conversation with a mentor, or a consistent habit that removes a distraction can multiply your effectiveness exponentially. The key is to be intentional. Don't just accept the environment you inherit or that surrounds you by default. Craft it, design it, make it serve your goals rather than hinder them. It's also important to remember that your environment must evolve as you grow. What worked when you were starting out may not be enough when your goals expand. Continually assess your environment, removing elements that no longer serve you and adding new supports that push you higher. Growth demands adaptation, and your environment must grow with you. Energy is another factor. Environments that inspire, energize, and motivate. You can make the difference between showing up consistently and giving up. Light, space, color, sounds, and comfort. All of these elements affect your mood and drive. If your surroundings drain your energy, it doesn't matter how disciplined you are. Eventually, you'll falter. Create a space where your energy flows freely toward your work and goals. Your environment should also reinforce the systems you're building. If you've designed a routine to take small daily actions toward a larger goal, your environment should remove obstacles to those actions. A clean, organized workspace, tools within reach, supportive people nearby, and limited distractions create the ideal conditions for your system to work without resistance. Most people underestimate how much their environment affects their results. They blame lack of discipline or motivation, when, in reality, their surroundings are constantly working against them. You don't have to rely solely on willpower. You can make success easier by designing conditions that naturally guide you toward the actions you want to take. Environment is the silent partner in your achievement. Take the time to evaluate what surrounds you. Ask yourself, are my surroundings helping me focus, learn, and grow? Are the people around me lifting me higher or holding me back? Are the routines and habits in my day aligned with my goals? If the answer is no, then make the changes needed. Don't wait for motivation to magically appear. Shape the environment that produces the results you want. When your environment is strong, consistent, and supportive, it amplifies every other system you put in place. Deadlines, routines, habits, and small daily actions become easier to follow because the space you occupy, the people you engage with, and the tools you use all push you forward. Success becomes less about relying on constant self-control and more about allowing your environment to work for you. A powerful environment doesn't just make you more productive, it also shapes your mindset. When you see progress, when you're surrounded by positive influences, and when your space reflects your vision, you naturally think bigger, aim higher, and act with more confidence. Environment becomes both the fuel and the mirror of the person you are becoming. You cannot separate your results from your environment. The systems you build will either thrive or fail, depending on the conditions you create around them. That's why every successful person pays attention to their environment. Every decision about where to spend your time, who to spend it with, and what space to inhabit has a direct impact on your ability to achieve. Number 8, track progress with tracking your progress is one of the most powerful tools you can have when building systems to achieve your goals. Without measurement, it's impossible to know if you're moving forward or standing still. You can have the clearest vision, the strongest systems, and the most disciplined routines, but if you don't track what's actually happening, your efforts can become scattered, and your results may never match your intentions. The first step is to define what progress actually looks like for you. For some people, it's tangible, hitting a certain number of sales, completing a project, losing weight, or finishing a book. For others, it might be more subtle, improving focus, building confidence, or enhancing your skills. Whatever it is, clarity is critical. You cannot measure what you do not define. Once you know what to track, keep it simple. Many people overcomplicate tracking, creating systems that are hard to maintain. A simple chart, a checklist, a daily journal, or a small spreadsheet can do the job. The key is consistency, not complexity. Each day, take a few minutes to mark what was done, what improved, or what still needs work. Over time, these small daily records become a powerful visual reminder of your growth. They also give you the data you need to adjust your systems when something isn't working. The act of tracking itself builds momentum. Every time you see that mark on your checklist, that number increase, or that task completed, you feel a small but significant surge of motivation. This is reinforcement. It tells your mind, your body, and your emotions that your actions are producing results. That feeling of progress fuels further action and creates a positive feedback loop that strengthens your system. Tracking progress also happens when people fail to see immediate results. They often give up, believing that their efforts are wasted. But when you keep a record of your actions, you can see that even small steps are adding up over time. It's easy to underestimate the impact of consistent effort, but data doesn't lie. When you look back, you can see exactly how far you've come, which builds confidence and resilience. Measurement should be regular, ideally daily or weekly. Daily tracking helps you catch small mistakes early and keeps your system functioning smoothly. Weekly tracking allows you to step back and see trends. Are certain actions producing results while others aren't? Are you staying consistent, or are there gaps in your routine? These insights are invaluable for adjusting your system to make it more effective. It's also important to focus on what matters most. Not all measurements are equal. Don't get lost tracking minor details that don't move the needle. Focus on key actions and metrics that directly contribute to your outcomes. For example, if your goal is to improve fitness, tracking the number of workouts completed and improvements in strength or endurance is far more useful than counting the calories you don't burn. If your goal is financial, tracking your savings rate and investment growth is more important than minor daily spending. Another aspect of tracking is recording progress makes it easier to hold yourself accountable because the evidence is right there. You can't ignore it, and you can't convince yourself you're doing more than you really are. Tracking removes excuses and forces clarity. If you've fallen short, the record shows exactly where you need to improve. If you've succeeded, the record shows exactly what worked. Tracking also opens the door to learning. The best systems aren't static. They evolve based on what you discover through measurement. When you track your results, patterns emerge. You start to understand which parts of your system are strong and which need adjustment. This is how small, consistent improvements compound into massive success over time. The feedback from your progress is a guide, showing you exactly where to focus your energy for maximum impact. Simplicity is key, because consistency beats complexity every time. The easiest tracking systems are the ones you can maintain without stress. If tracking becomes a chore, it will be abandoned. Keep it visual and tangible. If possible, seeing results in front of you, whether it's a checked box, a rising number, or a completed goal on a timeline, has a psychological impact that motivates more than abstract plans or intentions ever could. Your tracking system should also celebrate wins, even small ones. Each milestone reached, no matter how minor it seems, is proof that your system is working. These celebrations don't have to be extravagant. They can be as simple as marking a day as completed, acknowledging a task done, or sharing your progress with someone who supports you. Recognition reinforces behavior and strengthens your commitment to the system. Tracking progress is not about perfection. It's about clarity, learning, and momentum. It allows you to make informed adjustments instead of guessing. If something isn't producing results, the data will show it. If something is working well, the data will encourage you to do more of it. Systems are dynamic, and tracking gives them life. It transforms actions into results and effort into measurable achievement. Finally, the act of tracking trains your mind to think in systems. You stop focusing solely on the outcome, which is often out of your control, and start focusing on the actions and processes that lead to success. This shift from outcome-based thinking to system-based thinking is what separates people who struggle to achieve their goals from those who reach them consistently. Measure it, makes it visible. It turns abstract goals into concrete progress, and it ensures that your systems, the structures you build to guide your actions, are actually producing the results you want. Tracking progress is the bridge between intention and accomplishment. Without it, systems become theory, and goals become wishes. With it, every action has meaning, every step produces insight, and every day moves you closer to your vision. The system you build doesn't just live on paper, it lives in your actions, reinforced by measurable results. This is how ordinary effort transforms into extraordinary achievement. Number 9, but you automate what you can to save energy. One of the biggest mistakes people make when trying to achieve goals is relying solely on willpower and decision-making in the moment. Every choice you make, every decision you take, consumes mental energy. If you spend too much energy deciding small things, what to eat, when to exercise, which task to start first, you drain the energy needed for the actions that truly matter. That's where automation comes in. Creating systems that handle repetitive or predictable tasks allows you to focus your mind and energy on the work that produces results. Automation doesn't mean letting life run itself. It means intentionally setting up structures so that the right actions happen automatically without relying on motivation or constant decision-making. Think about the routines of successful people. They don't wake up each day debating whether they will work on their goals. They have systems that make the productive choice the easiest choice. They've automated their habits so that consistency is effortless and energy is preserved for challenges that demand creativity and focus. Start by identifying the repetitive tasks in your life that are necessary but don't require deep thinking. These are prime candidates for automation. It could be things like meal planning, daily exercise, financial management, or setting reminders for important tasks. Once you systematize these actions, you no longer waste energy deciding if or when you will do them. They become part of the rhythm of your life, occurring naturally without friction. Automation can also apply to your environment. Surround yourself with tools, reminders, and systems that reinforce your goals automatically. If your goal is to read more, have a book in your bag or by your bed. If your goal is health, have healthy meals prepped or your workout gear ready. The environment itself nudges you toward the right action. Small changes like this remove friction which is often the hidden enemy of productivity. Every little resistance we remove is energy saved for the tasks that matter most. Another area where automation is powerful is in scheduling. Use calendars, timers, and reminders to structure your day so that important tasks happen consistently. When your day is designed in advance, with blocks of focused time, you no longer need to rely on willpower or random motivation. Your system ensures that work on your goals is inevitable. The more predictable and routine your key actions, the less mental energy you waste, and the more consistent your progress. Technology can also help automate some tasks. Apps, alerts, and automated workflows allow you to manage finances, track habits, or even send important communications without constant effort. This doesn't replace intentional action, but it frees your mind for the higher-level decisions that produce meaningful results. When the simple things are automated, you can focus on growth, learning, and the creative work that actually moves you forward. Automation also reinforces consistency. When actions happen automatically, you're less likely to skip them. Even when motivation is low. Motivation fluctuates, energy levels vary, and life throws distractions in your path. Systems that are automated protect you from these fluctuations. They ensure that the work continues day after day, week after week, producing cumulative results that you wouldn't get if you relied solely on willpower. But automation requires planning. It requires thinking ahead and making intentional choices about which actions can be systematized. This is not about doing less work, it's about doing smarter work. It's about preserving your energy for what only you can do, rather than spending it on what a well-designed system could handle. The result is efficiency, focus, and greater progress over time, so it reduces stress. When you have predictable systems in place, you don't constantly worry if you'll do the right thing at the right time, You trust the system you've built. That trust creates confidence and allows you to show up fully for the important tasks that require your attention. Creativity and effort, even simple routines like morning and evening rituals, are forms of automation. When you start your day with a set of habits designed to energize and focus you, know you're not wasting energy deciding what to do first. When you end your day reviewing progress and planning the next day, your system is already guiding you forward without hesitation. These small automated actions compound into significant growth over time. Another benefit of automation is momentum. Once the system is in motion, it carries you forward. Each small automated action builds upon the previous one. Over time, these actions create habits, and habits create results. By removing the reliance on constant conscious effort, your system starts to produce outcomes naturally. It's no longer about forcing progress. It's about letting your well-built system do the work for you. Even in goal setting, automation can help. For example, if your goal is to save money, setting up automatic transfers to a savings account ensures that the action happens consistently. If your goal is personal development, subscribing to educational content, or scheduling regular learning sessions makes growth unavoidable. By automating, you remove the risk of procrastination and guarantee consistent progress toward what matters most. Finally, automation creates freedom. It allows you to focus on what only you can do while letting the system handle predictable tasks. It protects your energy, reinforces consistency, and builds momentum. A goal without a system is just a wish, but a goal supported by automation is a process that produces results day after day. This is how ordinary effort transforms into extraordinary achievement, and why those who build systems consistently outperform those who rely only on willpower. Is not a shortcut. It's a strategic decision to structure your life so that the actions that matter happen reliably. It's about creating a framework that ensures success, even when motivation fades or obstacles appear. The more you can automate what you can, the more energy you'll have for the work that actually moves the needle. Your next step is to look at your daily life and identify what can be automated. Identify what drains energy unnecessarily and decide how to systematize it. Small steps here lead to massive results later. By building automation into your systems, you create a life where progress happens consistently, energy is preserved, and success becomes the natural outcome of the structure you've put in place. Number 10, focus on consistency, not perfection. Too many people fail to achieve their goals because they are obsessed with perfection. They want every action to be flawless, every result immediate, and every detail exact. This kind of thinking kills progress. If you wait for perfection, you end up doing nothing. You delay, you hesitate, and your goals remain distant dreams instead of tangible realities. Success is not about doing things perfectly, it's about doing them consistently. Consistency is what builds momentum, what creates results over time, and what turns effort into achievement. Consistency is far more powerful than a single act of brilliance. One perfect day does not create success. A week of good habits followed by inconsistency does not produce results. But showing up day after day, taking action even when motivation is low, that is where the power lies. The small, steady steps compound into outcomes far beyond what sporadic bursts of effort could ever achieve. Every consistent action is like a deposit into a bank account. Over time, these deposits accumulate and the interest they earn grows quietly, steadily, and powerfully. The challenge is that consistency requires patience. It requires faith in the process. You must understand that real growth is not immediate. Your goals, especially the big ones, are achieved through repetition, refinement, and persistence. Each day you follow your system. Each day you stick to your routines. You are moving closer to your goal, even if the results are not yet visible. Trusting the process is key. Consistency compounds, and every small effort adds up. One way to build consistency is to remove friction from your actions. Make it as easy as possible to follow your system. This means designing your environment so that the right actions are simple and obvious. If your goal is to exercise, have your workout clothes ready. If your goal is to write, keep your notebook or computer accessible. When the first step is easy, consistency becomes much more achievable. Reducing excuses and resistance is essential for maintaining momentum over the long term. Another key to consistency is when someone else knows what you're working on, you are more likely to follow through. Share your progress with a friend, mentor, or community that supports your growth. Public commitment and accountability reinforce your consistency because they add an element of responsibility. You begin to understand that your actions affect not only your goals, but also the trust and expectations of others, which strengthens your resolve to remain consistent. It's also important to recognize that perfection is an illusion. Mistakes, failures, and setbacks are part of the journey. They are not reasons to stop. They are opportunities to learn and refine your system. Being consistent does not mean never failing. It means continuing forward even when the path is imperfect. Every failure is data. Every misstep teaches you what works and what doesn't. Consistency means showing up, adjusting, and moving forward regardless of temporary setbacks. Consistency is also a mental discipline. It requires you to train your mind to prioritize long-term results over immediate comfort or gratification. When you focus on perfection, you get caught up in what's not done, what's wrong, or what could be better. But consistency allows you to focus on progress. You celebrate the act of showing up, completing the work, and improving each day. This mindset shift transforms frustration into motivation and effort into achievement. To stay consistent, track your actions. Keep a record of what you do each day to advance your goals. This does not need to be elaborate. A simple checklist works. When you see your progress, even small steps, it reinforces your habit and keeps your momentum alive. Daily tracking also helps you identify patterns, recognize challenges early, and make adjustments without losing consistency. It creates clarity and accountability, making the path forward more manageable. Consistency also reduces stress. When you follow a system every day, decisions become easier. You no longer waste energy wondering whether to work or procrastinate. Your actions become automatic. part of a routine that requires less mental effort. The energy you save goes into improvement, creativity, and focus. A consistent approach to your goals allows you to maintain your energy for the work that truly matters, rather than expending it on indecision or hesitation. A key factor is understanding that results are not immediate, and that is normal. Growth is invisible at first. You plant the seeds through consistent actions, but the harvest comes later. If you expect instant results, you will be discouraged. The power of consistency is that over time, it produces outcomes far greater than any single effort could achieve. The longer you maintain consistent action, the larger the impact becomes. Consistency also builds trust in yourself. When you show up day after day, you begin to believe in your ability to follow through. This self-trust is essential because achieving meaningful goals requires commitment over months and years, not just days. When you trust yourself to be consistent, you stop looking for shortcuts and excuses. You develop confidence in your system and in your ability to see it through. Finally, consistency shapes character. It teaches patience, resilience, and self-discipline. It separates those who dream from those who achieve. Every action you take consistently defines who you are becoming. It molds your habits, your mindset, and ultimately your results. By prioritizing consistency over perfection, you create a framework for long-term success that is reliable, repeatable, and unstoppable. Your next step is to identify where you have been chasing perfection instead of focusing on steady action. Commit to showing up every day, doing what matters, and trusting the process. Small, consistent actions are far more effective than rare, perfect moments. The real power comes from the compound effect of daily effort, unwavering focus, and disciplined routines. By focusing on consistency, you are building a life where your goals are not a dream, but an inevitable outcome of your dedicated, persistent actions. Number 11. Remove distractions that break your system. Distractions are the silent enemies of achievement. They creep into your day without warning, pulling your attention away from the tasks that matter most. Every time you give in to a distraction, even for a few minutes, you lose momentum. Your focus fractures, your energy disperses, and the system you built to achieve your goals starts to crumble. Success demands clarity, concentration, and commitment. If your environment or habits allow distractions to dominate, your goals will remain out of reach, no matter how good your plans are. The first step to removing distractions is to become aware of them. Take a close look at your daily routines. Notice where your time disappears. Is it endless scrolling on social media? Are phone notifications pulling your focus? Or perhaps casual conversations and unnecessary meetings steal precious hours? Awareness is the foundation of control. You cannot fix what you do not recognize. Identifying distractions gives you power because it allows you to deliberately design your day to protect your focus. Once you are aware, take deliberate action to remove or reduce these distractions. Start with your environment. If your workspace is cluttered, it diverts your mind from important tasks. A clean, organized, and minimal setup promotes concentration. If your phone constantly interrupts, set boundaries, turn off notifications, silence alerts, or keep it in another room while working. Every element you can remove that pulls your attention away strengthens the system that drives your goals. Distractions are not just physical, they are mental as well. Unnecessary worries, negative thoughts, or dwelling on things you cannot control can fragment your focus just as much as a buzzing phone. Guarding your mind is as important as guarding your environment. Meditation, journaling, or simply taking quiet moments during the day can help clear mental clutter. A calm, focused mind is capable of executing your system with precision. Another critical strategy is time blocking. Assign dedicated blocks of time for important tasks and protect them ruthlessly. Treat this time as sacred. During these blocks, avoid multitasking. Focus solely on the activity that moves your goals forward. Your brain performs best when it concentrates on one task at a time. Multitasking may feel productive, but it dilutes effort and decreases efficiency. Single tasking in a distraction-free zone amplifies results and reinforces your system. Accountability also helps eliminate. When someone else knows your plan or is monitoring your progress, it creates external pressure to stay focused. Accountability partners or mentors are powerful because they reinforce consistency and help you resist distractions. When you are committed to showing results, the temptation to divert your attention diminishes. It is much easier to maintain focus when your actions matter to others as well as yourself. Distractions often come disguised as urgencies. Emails, messages, or minor problems demand your attention, but they are not always important. Learn to differentiate between what is urgent and what is important. Your system should prioritize meaningful actions that drive results. Not everything requires an immediate response. By choosing what truly deserves your energy, you preserve focus for high-impact work and prevent your system from being broken by constant interruptions. Technology, though useful, is a major source of distraction. Tools meant to make life easier often fragment attention. Social media, notifications, and endless streams of information pull your mind away from what matters. Control these tools instead of letting them control you. Limit their use, set strict boundaries, and be intentional with your digital engagement. By managing technology wisely, you protect your system and ensure it works efficiently. Distractions also test discipline. The ability to ignore what is not essential strengthens your willpower and reinforces your system. Every time you resist a distraction, you train yourself to stay on course. Over time, this becomes automatic. You no longer need constant reminders. Focus becomes second nature. Your system operates smoothly because your attention is fully committed to it, undisturbed by external noise. It is crucial to recognize that removing distractions is not about eliminating all leisure or relaxation. For breaks, hobbies, and downtime are important for energy and creativity. The key is balance. Schedule relaxation deliberately, not reactively. When your system includes structured time for both work and rest, you prevent distractions from hijacking your day. Intentional breaks restore energy while keeping your focus sharp during productive periods. Distractions can also come from people. Well-meaning friends, colleagues, or family members may demand attention at times that disrupt your system. Learn to set boundaries. Protecting your schedule and focus does not make you selfish. It makes you effective. Your goals are valuable, and maintaining a system that supports them requires clear limits on external demands. People respect someone who has control over their time and priorities. Eliminating distractions strengthens more than just your productivity. It enhances your confidence. Each time you complete a task without giving in to interruptions, you prove to yourself that you can stay committed. This builds self-trust and reinforces your belief in your ability to follow through. Now, your system becomes a source of empowerment because you know it works when applied consistently and without interference. Finally, removing distractions allows your system to compound results over time. Small losses of focus may seem insignificant in the moment, but they add up and can derail progress. By actively protecting your attention and energy, your actions compound daily. Consistency grows, productivity increases, and the outcomes your system is designed to achieve begin to manifest. Distractions may always exist, but your commitment to managing them ensures your success is inevitable. Your next step is to audit your day, identify what pulls your attention away, and take immediate action to minimize or remove those interruptions. Protect your focus, guard your energy, and keep your system operating at full capacity. Success is not about luck or willpower alone. It is about designing an environment, a mindset, and a set of routines that channel your effort efficiently. By removing distractions, you ensure that your system functions as intended, turning daily actions into real, measurable results. Number 12, review and adjust your system weekly. A system, no matter how well designed, is not something you set and forget. It is a living framework that grows and evolves with you. Every week, you must step back, look at the results you are producing, and evaluate whether your system is moving you closer to your goals or holding you back. The act of reviewing is not just about accountability. It is about gaining insight, spotting patterns, and making adjustments that keep you on track. Without this step, even the strongest system can become outdated or ineffective. Start by taking a close look at your progress. Review what you accomplished during the week and compare it with the actions and outcomes you planned. Are you consistently hitting the small milestones that lead to your larger goals? If you are falling short, do not treat it as failure. Treat it as information. Every gap between your intentions and your results teaches you something about how your system is functioning and where it needs adjustment. Next, identify bottlenecks. These are the areas in your system that slow down progress, cause frustration, or waste energy. Perhaps a particular routine takes longer than expected, or certain tasks consistently get delayed. Look for patterns, not isolated incidents. Bottlenecks are opportunities to refine your system, simplify processes, and remove unnecessary friction. The goal is to make your system flow smoothly, so that effort leads naturally to results. Flexibility is key during weekly reviews. Life is unpredictable, and your system must be able to adapt without losing effectiveness. Sometimes circumstances change. A new responsibility, a sudden project, or an unexpected challenge. A rigid system breaks under pressure, but a flexible system adjusts. Use your weekly review to anticipate challenges and incorporate contingencies that keep your plan realistic and achievable. Measurement is essential. Without data, your evaluation is guesswork. Track simple metrics that reflect progress, hours invested, tasks completed, milestones reached, or habits maintained. Metrics do not have to be complicated. Even basic records provide a clear picture of whether your system is producing the results you expect. These insights guide adjustments and reinforce what is working. During the review, celebrate small wins. Every week contains achievements that confirm your system is moving you forward. Recognizing progress, even in tiny increments, reinforces positive behavior and motivates you to continue. Celebrating small victories is not about complacency. It is about acknowledging that consistent action produces results. And these results accumulate into meaningful success over time. Reflection is also a critical component. Ask yourself questions: which parts of my system are most effective? Which areas consistently cause problems? Are there steps I can remove, combine, or simplify? How can I adjust my environment to support the system better? Honest reflection ensures that your system evolves intelligently, not randomly. Each review is an opportunity to learn, improve, and optimize. Feedback from others can be invaluable. If your goals involve teamwork or collaboration, incorporate input from colleagues, mentors, or partners. They can offer perspectives that you might overlook, revealing blind spots or suggesting improvements. Combining self-assessment with external feedback strengthens your system and increases the likelihood of achieving consistent results. Account for energy levels as well. A system that works on paper but exhausts you in practice is not sustainable. Use your weekly review to check whether your routines match your natural energy cycles. Adjust timing, intensity, or order of tasks to align with when you are most alert and productive. Systems that respect your energy are easier to follow consistently and produce better results over time. Your weekly review should also examine your priorities. Goals evolve, and some actions that were critical last month may no longer matter. Align your system with current priorities. Remove outdated tasks, shift focus to higher impact activities, and ensure that every component of your system serves your most important objectives. By keeping priorities clear, your system remains lean, focused, and powerful. Be honest about obstacles. Identify what prevented you from executing certain parts of your system. Was it procrastination, lack of resources, or poor planning? Understanding the root causes allows you to address them directly. Adjustments are only effective when they target the actual barriers rather than surface-level symptoms. The weekly review is also a time to refine routines and habits. Small adjustments compound over time. Perhaps a morning routine could be shifted slightly to increase focus, or a particular habit could be paired with another for greater efficiency. These incremental improvements are the backbone of long-term success. Over weeks and months, tiny enhancements transform your system into a machine that consistently produces results with less struggle. Document your changes. Keeping a record of what you adjusted and why creates a reference for future reviews. It also allows you to see patterns of improvement and areas that repeatedly need attention. Documentation turns subjective impressions into objective insights, which strengthens decision-making and system optimization. During this review, consider your mindset as part of the system. Are your beliefs and attitudes supporting your actions, or are they undermining your efforts? Self-doubt, fear of failure, or negative thinking can sabotage even the most well-designed system. Include mental and emotional evaluation in your weekly review. Strengthening your mindset ensures that your system functions not just physically, but psychologically, allowing you to persist when challenges arise. Reviewing weekly also prevents stagnation. Without a consistent check-in, you may continue inefficient practices out of habit. Weekly adjustments inject dynamism into your system. You learn faster, adapt quicker, and maintain momentum. Systems are not meant to be static. They are living structures that grow stronger through conscious refinement. Accountability plays a role here too. Share your weekly review with someone you respect. Verbalizing progress and challenges increases commitment. When someone else witnesses your effort, it reinforces discipline and encourages honesty. Accountability amplifies the effectiveness of the review process and strengthens the system's impact on your goals. Ultimately, the weekly review is about control. You take command of your system, ensuring it serves you, rather than running on autopilot. It allows you to notice what is effective, eliminate what is wasteful, and tweak elements to suit changing circumstances. This consistent attention keeps your system aligned with your objectives and ensures continuous progress. By making this a weekly habit, you build a rhythm that supports growth. Each review is an opportunity to reflect, refine, and improve. Your actions become smarter, your focus sharper, and your results more predictable. Success is no longer a distant dream. It becomes a consequence of a system that evolves intentionally and intelligently. This practice transforms your culture. Instead of relying on sporadic motivation, you depend on a system that adapts and optimizes. It removes guesswork, reduces frustration, and builds confidence in your ability to achieve what you set out to do. Reviewing and adjusting your system weekly ensures that your path to success remains clear, efficient, and unstoppable. Number 13, build accountability into your plan. Accountability is the bridge between intentions and results. Without it, even the best system can fall apart because it is too easy to get distracted, postpone action, or rationalize inaction. Building accountability into your plan means creating structures that ensure your actions are noticed, tracked, and reinforced. It is not just about having someone watch you. It is about committing yourself to a standard higher than your own immediate comfort. Accountability transforms motivation from a fleeting emotion into a consistent, reliable force that propels you forward. Start by identifying areas in your plan where you are most likely to slip. Are there particular tasks you tend to delay? Certain routines that fall apart under pressure? These weak points are exactly where accountability becomes most valuable. By focusing attention on these vulnerable areas, you increase the chances of consistent execution and prevent minor lapses from growing into serious setbacks. One of the simplest forms of accountability is sharing your goals with someone who cares about your success. This could be a mentor, a colleague, a friend, or a family member. When someone else knows what you are working toward, it creates an external expectation that encourages follow-through. This is not about fear or pressure. It is about responsibility. The knowledge that your progress is visible to others makes it not harder to ignore the work that needs to be done. Tracking progress is crucial. Keeping a record of your actions and outcomes provides an objective measure of whether your system is working. It also allows you to spot patterns, identify inefficiencies, and celebrate wins. Simple tracking methods like a journal, spreadsheet, or habit tracker can make a huge difference. The act of recording your progress reinforces your commitment and gives a tangible sense of advancement. Peer accountability can take this even further. Engaging with a group of like-minded individuals who share similar goals creates a network of mutual reinforcement. Each person's progress inspires others, and collective support holds everyone accountable. In such a setting, missing a task is noticeable, but so is accomplishing it. And the encouragement from the group strengthens the habit of consistent action. Professional accountability, for instance, if your goals involve work or projects, having deadlines, performance metrics, or regular check-ins creates a formal structure of responsibility. These measures are not punitive. They are designed to provide clarity, focus, and momentum. Accountability at a professional level transforms abstract intentions into concrete results. Self-accountability is equally powerful. The most effective systems combine external and internal mechanisms. Daily reflection on your actions, assessing whether you met your standards, and honestly confronting lapses reinforces personal responsibility. This internal check ensures that even without external oversight, you maintain discipline and integrity. Writing down what you achieved each day and noting what could improve helps create a habit of self-monitoring that supports long-term success. Accountability also requires transparency. Be honest with yourself and with those holding you accountable. Avoid excuses or rationalizations that diminish responsibility. The purpose of accountability is not to judge but to illuminate reality so you can act more effectively. When you accept your performance honestly, you gain clarity and confidence, which strengthens your system. Creating consequences and rewards within your accountability framework further reinforces commitment. Positive reinforcement for completing tasks, reaching milestones, or maintaining routines motivates continued action. Conversely, having a consequence for missing critical steps, such as notifying a partner or dedicating extra effort to correct the lapse, adds seriousness to your plan. Accountability works best when it is paired with clear incentives and consequences. Accountability also builds resilience. When you commit to others and to yourself, you develop a sense of responsibility that transcends motivation. On days when energy is low or obstacles arise, the awareness that your actions are being observed by yourself or others encourages persistence. This consistent application of effort, even under challenging circumstances, separates those who achieve from those who merely dream. Transparency and communication enhances accountability. Clearly outline what you intend to achieve and how progress will be measured. The more specific you are, the easier it is to track results and maintain focus. Ambiguity weakens accountability, while clarity strengthens it. Define the actions, the frequency, and the expected outcomes. Every detail you specify makes your system more enforceable and more likely to produce results. Accountability also extends to habits and behaviors beyond tasks. Your mindset, attitude, and decision-making patterns are part of the system. Ensures that you hold yourself accountable not just for completing actions, but for maintaining standards that align with your goals. The quality of effort is just as important as the quantity, and accountability ensures both remain consistent. Regular check-ins are vital. Set weekly or daily reviews to assess whether your commitments were met, whether obstacles were addressed, and whether the system continues to support your objectives. Frequent assessments prevent small issues from becoming significant setbacks. Accountability is not a one-time effort. It is continuous and integrated into the rhythm of your work. Feedback is another critical component. Seek constructive input from those who hold you accountable. They can provide insights, notice blind spots, and suggest improvements you might overlook. Accountability without feedback is incomplete. The value comes from correction, guidance, and reinforcement that refine your actions and enhance your system. Incorporating technology can also amplify accountability. Simple tools like reminders, habit apps, or shared project management platforms can track your progress and notify others automatically. These tools reduce the chance of forgetting tasks and make your commitment more visible, increasing the likelihood of consistent follow-through. Ultimately, counts intention into action. It ensures that your systems function as designed, that goals are approached systematically, and that you remain disciplined even when motivation fades. By embedding accountability into your plan, you create a structure that supports continuous effort, reduces procrastination, and builds momentum toward achieving your objectives. This commitment to accountability strengthens character. Each time you follow through, you reinforce reliability, integrity, and discipline. These qualities, once habitual, become the foundation upon which sustained success is built. Accountability is not just a tool. It is a habit that cultivates self-respect and the trust of others. Consistency emerges from accountability. When actions are observed, tracked, and reflected upon, adherence to the system becomes automatic. Your efforts are no longer sporadic or reactive. They are deliberate, measured, and persistent. Through accountability, small steps accumulate into significant results, and gradual progress transforms into lasting achievement. By integrating accountability into your plan, you remove excuses and remove ambiguity. You gain clarity, structure, and confidence in your ability to follow through. Accountability ensures that your system is not theoretical but practical, not optional but essential. With it, your goals are no longer distant aspirations. They become achievable outcomes of focused, disciplined action. Success is not a sudden event. It is the result of many small, deliberate actions accumulated over time. One of the most overlooked aspects of building an effective system is recognizing and rewarding the progress you make along the way. Rewards are not about indulgence or distraction. They are about reinforcing the behaviors that lead to success, creating a cycle of motivation and momentum that keeps you moving forward. When you achieve a milestone, no matter how small, take a moment to acknowledge it. This acknowledgement is powerful because it signals to your brain that the effort was worthwhile. Every completed task, every step forward, confirms that your actions are producing results. This simple recognition strengthens your commitment to the system and increases your confidence in your ability to achieve larger goals. Rewards should be meaningful but aligned with your goals. They should enhance your energy, focus, and sense of accomplishment, not distract from your path. For instance, completing a challenging task could be followed by a short break, a favorite activity, or time spent with someone who supports you. These moments of positive reinforcement create a feedback loop where the system itself begins to feel rewarding, making it easier to sustain effort over time. Celebrating small wins also prevents burnout. Building systems requires discipline and consistency, which can sometimes feel tedious or overwhelming. If you only focus on the end goal, the journey may feel endless, and your motivation can falter. By rewarding progress along the way, you create checkpoints that keep morale high, making the process more enjoyable and sustainable. A reward system also helps combat procrastination. When you know that completion brings a positive consequence, your brain naturally leans toward action rather than avoidance. The anticipation of a reward, even a small one, activates motivation and reduces resistance. It transforms tasks that might otherwise feel like obligations into opportunities for achievement and satisfaction. Rewards reinforce the habit. Each time you complete an action and allow yourself a small reward, you strengthen the connection between effort and outcome. This reinforcement makes it more likely that you will repeat the behavior, gradually building a pattern of productivity and progress. Over time, these habits compound, creating a foundation for larger achievements. Another important aspect is variety. Rewards do not always have to be material or external. They can include personal achievements, recognition from others, or the satisfaction of seeing measurable progress. Different types of rewards stimulate different parts of your motivation system, keeping engagement high and preventing routine from becoming monotonous. Self-awareness plays a critical role in choosing effective rewards. Understanding what genuinely motivates you ensures that rewards enhance, rather than undermine, your system. For example, if your goal involves health, a reward of extra rest or a favorite healthy treat reinforces the objective, while rewards that conflict with your goal could erode progress. The key is alignment. Your rewards should support the system, not detract from it. Accountability can amplify the power of rewards. Sharing your progress and celebrating small wins with a mentor, coach, or peer group increases their significance. When others recognize your achievements, it adds a layer of social reinforcement that deepens commitment and pride. Recognition from others validates effort and provides an additional reason to continue executing your systems consistently. Consistency in rewarding yourself also strengthens your sense of self-efficacy. Every small win proves that your actions matter, that you are capable, and that your system works. This repeated confirmation builds confidence, reduces doubt, and empowers you to tackle larger challenges. When you trust your ability to achieve incremental progress, you naturally approach bigger goals with less fear and more determination. Rewards also create a positive emotional connection with your system. When your system becomes associated with positive feelings, your motivation becomes less dependent on discipline alone and more fueled by the pleasure of accomplishment. This emotional reinforceable, which increases the likelihood that you will stick with it over the long term. Importantly, rewards should be structured to maintain momentum, not disrupt it. A reward that encourages complacency can undermine progress. For example, finishing a week of productive work might be followed by a celebratory activity, but it should not derail your overall system. Small, well-timed rewards maintain energy, focus, and enthusiasm without creating setbacks. Rewarding yourself, also, taking time to acknowledge achievements allows you to step back and see how far you have come. This reflection reinforces the sense of purpose and provides perspective on your journey. Recognizing progress, even incremental, reminds you that consistent effort produces results, keeping you motivated and committed. The psychological impact of rewards cannot be overstated. Positive reinforcement strengthens neural pathways associated with productive behaviors. Each reward creates a mental association between action and benefit, making it easier to repeat desired behaviors automatically. Over time, this neurological reinforcement turns productive actions into habits that no longer require conscious effort to perform consistently. Another advantage is resilience. Celebrating small wins provides emotional fuel during challenging periods. Even when setbacks, having a history of achievements reminds you of your capability and reinforces the belief that progress is possible. Rewards anchor your confidence, ensuring that temporary obstacles do not derail long-term objectives. Your reward system should evolve as you progress. Early in the process, small, tangible rewards may be most effective. As your habits solidify and your system strengthens, rewards can shift toward intrinsic satisfaction, pride, accomplishment, and the growing sense of mastery. This evolution keeps motivation aligned with the increasing scale of your goals. In addition, a reward system encourages innovation. When you are recognized or acknowledge progress, you are more likely to experiment, try new methods, and refine your approach. Rewards provide psychological safety, making it easier to test different strategies within your system without fear of failure. This experimentation is critical for discovering more effective ways to achieve your goals. Rewarding yourself also fosters a balanced perspective. It reminds you that success is not only about the end destination, but also about appreciating progress along the way. This mindset reduces unnecessary stress, increases enjoyment, and strengthens the emotional foundation that supports long-term achievement. Similarly, a well-designed system includes not only the actions and processes necessary for success, but also a strategy for celebrating each step forward. Rewards transform effort into a positive experience, reinforce productive behaviors, and create a sustainable cycle of motivation. By consistently acknowledging your progress, you ensure that your system is not only effective, but also energizing, engaging, and deeply satisfying. Number 15. Keep your system simple and repeatable. One of the biggest mistakes people make when trying to achieve goals is overcomplicating the process. Complexity creates confusion, delays action, and ultimately undermines your progress. The most powerful systems are not the most complicated. They are simple, clear, and easy to repeat every day. When a system is simple, it reduces resistance, minimizes errors, and allows you to focus on consistent execution. Simplicity is about clarity. When you know exactly what steps to take, there is no mental struggle, no second guessing, and no wasted energy. Your mind can focus entirely on execution rather than on figuring out what to do next. Each action becomes automatic, habitual, and aligned with your ultimate goal. Complicated systems, on the other hand, require constant thought, planning, and adjustments, which drains energy and reduces momentum. Repetitivity is equally crucial. A system must be designed so that you can do it consistently without losing focus or motivation. This means creating routines that are easy to follow and actions that fit naturally into your day. When the same productive behaviors are repeated regularly, they become habits. And habits are the building blocks of long-term success. A system that can't be repeated reliably is not a system at all. It's just a plan that waits for motivation, which is unpredictable and fleeting. Keeping your system simple doesn't mean it's easy, but it means that every action has a clear purpose. Each step should directly contribute to your goal and nothing else. There is no unnecessary complexity, no extra effort, no wasted time. This clarity allows you to focus all your energy on what truly matters. Every action becomes meaningful. Every day counts, and every effort compounds over time. A simple system also allows for faster decision-making. When you have clear, repeatable steps, you don't get stuck analyzing, overthinking, or procrastinating. Action becomes automatic because the rules of the system are clear. This is where consistency and momentum grow. Once you remove the friction of indecision, you move faster toward your goal with less stress and more confidence. The beauty of a simple system is that it is scalable. When you master small, repeatable actions, you can expand them to bigger challenges. The principles remain the same, even as the scale of your goals increases. By keeping the foundation simple, you create a framework that grows with you and your ambitions, rather than collapsing under simplicity. Also enhances. Life will inevitably throw challenges your way, but a simple system is easier to adjust without breaking down entirely. You can modify one small part of the system without losing control or stopping progress. Complex systems, in contrast, are fragile. A small disruption can derail the entire process and leave you feeling overwhelmed and frustrated. Repeatable systems build confidence. Each time you follow your system successfully, you prove to yourself that progress is possible. You begin to trust your method, trust your ability to take action, and trust that results will follow. This trust is critical because it sustains motivation even when obstacles arise. Confidence in your process removes doubt and strengthens your commitment to long-term goals. This is mental fatigue. When your system is clear and repeatable, your brain doesn't waste energy on unnecessary planning or decision-making. Your mental resources are preserved for the actions that matter most. Over time, this energy savings compounds, allowing you to maintain focus and performance even during demanding periods. A simple, repeatable system encourages accountability. When each step is clear, it's easy to track progress and measure results. You can see exactly what has been done and what remains, which helps maintain consistency. Tracking and measuring are only effective when the system itself is straightforward. Complicated systems make it difficult to know if you are truly moving forward, and progress can be lost in confusion. Another key advantage of simplicity is that it reduces the need for motivation. When your system is repeatable, you don't rely on willpower or emotional highs to perform. The actions become habitual, embedded in your routine, and almost automatic. Motivation is but systems built on simplicity and repetition allow results to happen regardless of how you feel on a particular day. Simplicity also fosters clarity of vision. When your system focuses on essential steps and eliminates unnecessary actions, it aligns more closely with your goals. You avoid distractions, stay committed to the right activities, and keep your energy concentrated on meaningful progress. This alignment makes every action purposeful and every effort impactful. Repeatability strengthened. Life will throw setbacks, challenges, and distractions your way, but a system that is simple and repeatable provides a roadmap to return to productive behavior. Even if you fall off track, the system itself guides you back, allowing recovery without stress or confusion. This stability builds mental toughness and long-term reliability. The power of a simple system is also seen in how it scales with support and collaboration. When others need to follow or assist with your process, a clear and repeatable system is easy to communicate and replicate. Everyone involved can understand their role, execute effectively, and maintain consistency. Complexity often leads to miscommunication, errors, and frustration, whereas simplicity drives clarity and efficiency. Simplicity and repeatability create a sense of control. When you know exactly what to do each day, you feel capable of managing your life and achieving your goals. This sense of control reduces anxiety, increases confidence, and fosters a mindset of proactive action rather than reactive stress. You are no longer at the mercy of external circumstances or your own wavering motivation. It's also important to regularly review your system to ensure it remains simple and effective. Over time, new methods or unnecessary additions can creep in, complicating the process. By stripping away complexity and focusing on repeatable actions that produce results, your system stays lean, effective, and powerful. Ultimately, simplicity and repeatability are the backbone of effective goal achievement. They remove obstacles, conserve energy, build habits, and ensure consistent progress. A system that is simple and repeatable transforms effort into results, actions into habits, and days into measurable advancement. Success doesn't come from rare bursts of inspiration. It comes from everyday execution, repeated reliably over time. By keeping your system simple and repeatable, you ensure that your actions align with your goals, your progress remains consistent, and your achievements compound naturally. Number 16, use checklists to stay organized. When trying to achieve big goals, the mind can easily become overwhelmed with details, tasks, and priorities. Without a clear way to organize everything, it's easy to forget steps, get distracted, or waste energy on unnecessary tasks. This is where checklists become incredibly powerful. They take the chaos out of your day, allowing your focus to remain on action rather than mental clutter. A checklist isn't just a list. It's a framework that ensures nothing important is missed and that every step aligns with the bigger goal. A well-crafted checklist transforms the way you approach your work. It breaks down complex tasks into clear, manageable actions that can be followed consistently. When each item on the list is specific and actionable, it becomes much easier to move from intention to execution. Your energy isn't wasted trying to remember what comes next, and your mind isn't drained by mental noise. The checklist becomes your a tool that frees mental bandwidth so that you can give full attention to performing each task at your best. Checklists also build accountability. When each task is written down, it's clear whether it's been completed or not. This creates a sense of responsibility because your progress is visible. It's one thing to have tasks floating in your mind. It's another to see them checked off one by one. Each tick mark is a confirmation of action, a small victory that builds momentum and confidence. Over time, completing your checklist becomes a habit, reinforcing the discipline required to achieve long-term goals. The beauty of a checklist is that it removes ambiguity. In many situations, we hesitate or procrastinate because we're unsure of the next step. A checklist eliminates that uncertainty. Every item is predefined, leaving no room for indecision. You know exactly what to do, in what order, and how it contributes to your goal. This clarity accelerates execution, reduces hesitation, and ensures that every action has purpose. Checklists also protect. It's easy to overlook important tasks, especially when juggling multiple responsibilities or pursuing complex goals. Even highly capable people make mistakes simply because they forget something crucial. A checklist acts as a safeguard, ensuring that important actions are not skipped. This prevents small mistakes from becoming bigger problems and maintains steady progress toward your goals. Another powerful aspect of checklists is that they reinforce consistency. By following the same checklist daily or weekly, you create a routine that naturally aligns with your objectives. Consistency is the foundation of achievement, and checklists make it much easier to maintain. Your system doesn't rely on motivation or memory. It relies on structure. Over time, consistent execution compounds into measurable results. Checklists also help manage priorities. When everything is written down, it's easier to identify what's most important and what can wait. You can rank tasks by urgency, importance, or impact, ensuring that your energy is spent on the actions that will move you closer to your goals. This prevents wasted effort on low-value activities and maximizes the impact of every action you take. They're also a valuable tool for reducing stress. When everything is in your checklist, you don't have to rely on memory or worry about forgetting something critical. Your mind can focus on executing tasks rather than holding them all at once. This reduces mental clutter, increases focus, and creates a sense of control over your day. The simple act of checking off completed tasks releases a sense of accomplishment that energizes and motivates you to keep moving forward. Checklists are flexible tools that can be tailored to any goal or situation. Whether you're building a personal routine, managing a project, or pursuing a long-term ambition, a checklist can be designed to fit your needs. You can have daily checklists, weekly checklists, or even milestone checklists for larger objectives. Each one acts as a roadmap, guiding your actions and keeping you on track without relying on external pressure or fleeting motivation. Checklists also allow for evaluation and improvement. When you review your checklist regularly, you can identify which tasks are effective, which are unnecessary, and which need adjustment. This constant refinement keeps your system efficient and ensures that your actions continue to align with your goals. It also provides valuable feedback on your progress, helping you learn and adapt without losing momentum. Another advantage of using checklists is that they create a sense of accomplishment and progress. Each time you check off a task, it reinforces your capability and commitment. These small wins accumulate, creating a momentum that drives bigger achievements. The act of completing items on your list also strengthens discipline, reinforces focus, and develops the confidence needed to tackle increasingly complex goals. Checklists also foster focus in a world full of distractions. When you know exactly what needs to be done, and in what order, you're less likely to get pulled off course by interruptions or unrelated tasks. They provide structure and guidance, acting as a shield against distraction. Your attention remains on what matters most, and your productivity increases exponentially because your actions are purposeful and organized. They also improve communication and collaboration when working with others. If your system involves a team, a shared checklist ensures everyone knows their responsibilities and deadlines. This reduces miscommunication, avoids duplication of effort, and keeps the team aligned toward a common goal. And even if you're working alone, the discipline gained from following a checklist strengthens your personal accountability and reliability. Ultimately, the use of checklists turns ambition into action. They transform vague intentions into clearer, achievable steps. They give structure to chaos, clarity to confusion, and momentum to hesitation. Checklists are not about doing more. They are about doing what truly matters with precision, consistency, and confidence. They keep you organized, accountable, and focused on progress. Every goal, no matter how big, becomes attainable when broken into specific tasks that are tracked, executed, and completed systematically. By committing to this practice, you take control of your actions and decisions. You move deliberately rather than reactively, and your progress becomes measurable and inevitable. Each completed checklist builds confidence, reinforces discipline, and strengthens the habits that lead to success. Systems succeed because they are simple, repeatable, and structured. And checklists are one of the most practical tools to keep your system working flawlessly. Number 17, learn to adapt when life changes. Life is unpredictable. No matter how carefully you plan or how disciplined you are, unexpected changes will happen. A system is only effective if it can bend without breaking, and learning to adapt is one of the most important skills for turning goals into reality. Flexibility doesn't mean losing focus. It means maintaining control while adjusting your actions to new circumstances. Adapting is about recognizing that rigid adherence to a plan can sometimes limit progress, while thoughtful adjustments can accelerate it. When life shifts, your mindset is the first place change must occur. It's easy to feel frustrated or defeated when things don't go as expected. That frustration can paralyze you if you let it, but a growth-oriented mindset sees obstacles as signals, not roadblocks. Challenges are simply opportunities to adjust your approach, to refine your system, and to learn more about what works and what doesn't. Adapting requires emotional resilience, staying calm under pressure, avoiding panic, and focusing on what can be controlled. One practical way to adapt is by reviewing your system regularly. A system isn't a static plan. It's a living process that needs attention. Weekly or even daily reviews help you spot gaps or inefficiencies before they derail progress. When you notice that something isn't working as well as expected, adjust it immediately. This keeps your system dynamic and ensures that your actions remain aligned with your goals, even when external circumstances change. Another important aspect of adapting is being willing to change priorities. Not all tasks are equally valuable at all times. Some steps that were crucial yesterday may be less important today. Adapting means identifying these shifts and reallocating your focus to what matters most in the current moment. It's about recognizing that your goal hasn't changed, but the path to reach it might need adjustment. The more fluid you are in responding to life's changes, the faster you can recover from setbacks and continue moving forward. Flexibility also requires learning from feedback. When results differ from expectations, it's essential to analyze what caused the gap. This isn't about blaming yourself or others, it's about understanding reality, so you can adjust effectively. Every setback provides. By paying attention to feedback, you turn mistakes into lessons and lessons into improvements in your system. Over time, this makes your process more efficient and resilient. Even in the face of uncertainty, adapting also involves staying resourceful. When circumstances shift, new resources, tools, or methods may be required. Being creative and finding solutions allows you to keep moving, even when the path forward isn't immediately clear. Resourcefulness is strengthened by preparation. Having knowledge, skills, and mental readiness enables you to pivot without losing momentum. It's the difference between reacting in panic and responding with control. An essential part of adaptation is maintaining your habits while being flexible in execution. The core of your system, your daily routines, discipline, and consistency should remain intact. What changes is how you approach tasks or the sequence in which you perform them. Adaptation isn't about abandoning your structure, it's about molding it to fit changing circumstances while keeping the system intact. This balance ensures that your progress continues even when life throws curveballs. Adapting also requires patience. Change doesn't always produce immediate results, and adjustments can take time to show effectiveness. It's important to trust the process, to allow new approaches to settle in, and to give yourself the space to grow through the adaptation process. Patience paired with decisive action creates a powerful combination that allows your system to thrive in any situation. Another aspect of adapting is staying mentally flexible. Often, the hardest part of change isn't external, it's internal. Resistance comes from habits, beliefs, or assumptions that no longer serve you. Recognizing when old ways of thinking limit your progress is critical. By staying open to new ideas, approaches, and methods, you maintain the mental agility necessary to adjust your system without losing direction. Adapting also involves embracing uncertainty. You won't always know exactly what lies ahead, and that's okay. Accepting that some things are beyond control allows you to focus energy on what you can influence. Systems are effective because they provide structure amidst uncertainty, and by learning to adapt, you maximize their benefit. When challenges arise, an adaptive system allows you to pivot instead of being paralyzed by fear or doubt. Collaboration can support adaptation. Seeking advice from mentors, peers, or experts can offer new perspectives that you might not see on your own. Other people can provide solutions, feedback, or encouragement that help you adjust your approach more effectively. Being willing to listen and incorporate insights from others strengthens your system and enhances your ability to respond to change. Technology and tools also play a role in adaptation. Using apps, tracking systems, or automation can make adjustments smoother and less time-consuming. If your system relies on outdated methods, adapting might mean embracing new tools that save energy, reduce errors, or staying current with resources ensures that your system evolves alongside your life circumstances. Adapting doesn't mean lowering standards or compromising goals. It's about being smart and strategic with your actions while keeping your vision intact. The goal remains the same, but your tactics shift to fit reality. This ensures that progress continues steadily, even when external factors try to slow you down. Flexibility in execution, paired with commitment to your goal, creates unstoppable momentum. Finally, learning to adapt reinforces confidence and resilience. Each time you navigate unexpected, you prove to yourself that you are capable of handling whatever comes your way. This builds trust in your own judgment, strengthens self-discipline, and instills the belief that no matter what life throws at you, your system and your commitment will keep you moving forward. Adaptation becomes not just a survival skill, but a growth strategy, ensuring that your goals remain achievable under any circumstance. Number 18, stay disciplined, even when motivation fades. Discipline is what separates those who achieve their goals from those who merely dream about them. Motivation is temporary. It comes and goes like a wave. Sometimes it's strong, other times it's barely noticeable. Relying on motivation alone is a trap. Systems are built to work even when motivation disappears. And staying disciplined when the initial excitement fades is what produces real, lasting results. The key is understanding that discipline is not about feeling like it. It's about doing what must be done regardless of how you feel. When motivation wanes, many people stop taking action. They postpone tasks, delay decisions, and wait for inspiration to return. That approach keeps them stuck in the same place. Discipline, on the other hand, means showing up and executing even when it's hard, even when you feel tired or uninspired. Discipline is about consistency. It's the small repeated actions that accumulate into big results over time. Each time you push through resistance, you reinforce your system and strengthen the habit of action. Creating a routine that supports your discipline is critical. Relying on willpower alone is draining and unreliable. Systems make by structuring your day so that essential tasks happen at the same time and in the same sequence. You remove the need to think about whether or not to take action. Your system becomes a guiding framework that keeps you moving forward, even on days when motivation is at its lowest. Accountability is another tool to maintain discipline. When someone else knows your goals, it creates external pressure to stay consistent. This can be a mentor, a coach, a friend, or even a community of like-minded individuals. Accountability reinforces your commitment and reduces the chance of letting a lack of motivation stop you. Discipline is strengthened when your actions are not solely dependent on how you feel, but are reinforced by responsibility and commitment to something bigger than yourself. Another way to maintain discipline is to simplify your tasks into manageable steps. Big goals can feel overwhelming, especially when motivation is low. Breaking them into small, achievable actions reduces mental resistance and makes it easier to take the next step. When you focus on completing one small task at a time, momentum builds, and each success reinforces your confidence and ability to stay disciplined. Self-awareness is crucial in maintaining discipline. Recognize the times when you're most likely to give in to procrastination or distraction. Understanding your personal triggers, your energy patterns, and your emotional highs and lows allows you to design your system around them. If you know you're less focused in the afternoon, schedule your most important work for the morning. Discipline is easier when you work in alignment with your natural rhythms rather than against them. Discipline also requires emotional control. When motivation fades, it's easy to feel discouraged, frustrated, or doubtful. These emotions can sabotage your consistency if you let them. A disciplined mindset acknowledges these feelings without acting on them. You continue your work regardless of how you feel, understanding that emotions are temporary and your commitment is long-term. Celebrating small wins is another reinforcement strategy. Each time you complete a task or maintain consistency, you strengthen the habit of discipline. These small successes create a sense of achievement that fuels ongoing effort, even in the absence of motivation. Discipline becomes self-reinforcing. The more you do it, the easier it gets and the stronger your system becomes. Visualize and mental rehearsal can also help maintain discipline. Seeing yourself completing tasks, achieving milestones, and living the life you desire strengthens your resolve. Mental practice primes your mind to act consistently, even when motivation is weak. You create a mental roadmap that your actions can follow, making discipline less about force and more about alignment with your goals. Another important factor is removing temptation and distraction. When motivation is low, resistance is high. Anything that pulls your attention away from your system can derail progress. Discipline is easier when your environment is designed to support it. Simplifying, organizing, and creating focus-friendly spaces reduces the likelihood of procrastination and strengthens your ability to follow through. Consistency over perfection is the cornerstone of discipline. Waiting to feel motivated or to have the perfect conditions is a trap. Systems are designed to produce results even in imperfect conditions. By focusing on taking action every day, even in small ways, you accumulate progress that eventually leads to achieving your larger goals. Discipline is about showing up, executing, and trusting that these repeated efforts compound over time. Another critical tool. At the end of each week, reviewing your actions and identifying where you stayed disciplined and where you slipped helps you improve. This awareness allows you to refine your system, eliminate obstacles, and reinforce behaviors that promote consistent action. Reflection turns experience into insight, which strengthens both discipline and the overall system. Account for setbacks as part of the process. Discipline isn't about never failing, it's about bouncing back quickly. Life will throw challenges, distractions, and periods of low energy. The key is to maintain the commitment to your system despite these setbacks. Every time you recover and continue, you reinforce the habit of discipline and make it easier to endure future challenges. Finally, internalize the mindset that your actions define your results, not feelings. Motivation is fleeting, but results are built through disciplined effort. Each day you execute, each time you follow your system, you are shaping the future you want. Discipline is the bridge between goals and achievement. By staying consistent, focused, and committed, you ensure that your system works for you, even when motivation fades, and that you continue moving forward toward the life you've set out to create. Number 19, turn failures into data for improvement. Failure is not the end of the road. It is information, feedback, and an opportunity to adjust your approach. Most people fear failure because they see it as a personal defeat. But the truth is that failure is one of the most valuable tools you have for growth. When you treat failure as data, it becomes a guide that tells you what works, what doesn't, and where improvements are needed. Understanding this distinction changes everything about how you approach your goals and your system. Every failure contains, it shows you where your system is weak, where your planning fell short, or where execution could be improved. Unguarding these signals means repeating the same mistakes over and over. By analyzing failure objectively, you transform it into actionable information. This is how successful people use failure as a stepping stone rather than an obstacle. They look at the results, not the embarrassment or frustration, and ask, what can I learn from this? Taking a step back to review your failures is crucial. When emotions run high, it's easy to react impulsively or feel defeated. Discipline requires separating emotion from analysis. Look at each failure as a set of facts. What exactly went wrong? Which decisions led to these outcomes? What patterns can you detect that contributed to the result? Writing these observations down allows you to turn abstract feelings into clear, usable information that guides your next steps. Adjustments are essential. Once you've gathered the data from a failure, apply it to refine your system. Maybe a certain habit needs to be strengthened, or a task needs to be broken into smaller, more manageable steps. Maybe your timeline was unrealistic, or your strategy lacked clarity. Each failure is a chance to tweak your system, making it stronger, smarter, and more effective. Success is rarely about avoiding mistakes. It's about improving continuously based on what you learn. Mindset plays a central role in turning failure into improvement. You must view mistakes as opportunities instead of threats. When your focus is on learning, not judgment, you remain engaged rather than paralyzed. This perspective allows you to remain proactive, seeking solutions and adjustments instead of dwelling on setbacks. Developing this mindset requires practice, but the more you treat failure as a teacher, the more your system will evolve and the more resilient you become. Feedback from others is another form of data that amplifies your ability to learn from failure. Mentors, peers, or even competitors can provide insights that you may overlook. Constructive criticism is valuable if you approach it with an open mind. By combining your own observations with external input, you gain a clearer picture of where your system can be improved. Accepting feedback without ego is a skill that accelerates learning and strengthens your path to success. Small failures are just as important as large ones. Often we focus only on major setbacks and overlook the smaller inefficiencies that quietly drain progress. Each missed target, delayed task, or partial success is information. Tracking these patterns allows you to refine your daily routines and habits systematically. Improvement is incremental. The consistent application of lessons from small failures compounds over time, leading to significant achievements. Resilience is built through this process. Every time you face a setback and use it as data to improve, you reinforce your confidence and your capacity to persevere. You start to understand that setbacks are not threats to your progress. They are natural checkpoints that guide your journey. This approach removes fear from the equation, because failure no longer signals defeat. It signals an opportunity to adapt and grow. Patience is also part of turning failure into progress. Results rarely appear instantly, and systems take time to prove their effectiveness. When adjustments based on failure are applied consistently, improvement accumulates slowly but surely. Each small change creates a ripple effect, strengthening your habits, your routines, and your overall system. Pertin, paired with reflection, is the formula for long-term success. Avoid blaming external circumstances or other people for your failures. Ownership is key. When you recognize that every outcome is influenced by your actions, your planning, and your decisions, you gain full control over your improvement. Externalizing blame only delays growth. By focusing on what you can change and using failure as a guide, you maintain authority over your system and your results. Keep detailed records of your actions, results, and failures. Documentation allows you to spot trends, measure progress, and identify weak points in your approach. A failure becomes far more valuable when it is analyzed in the context of other data points. Over time, these records reveal patterns that enable more precise adjustments and better decision-making. Failures also provide motivation. The discomfort of a setback can fuel your determination if channeled correctly. Every time you experience failure and commit to using it as information, you reinforce a mindset that is proactive, persistent, and growth-oriented. The energy from past setbacks becomes a driving force, ensuring that you approach your system with increased focus and intensity. The difference between people who give up and those who achieve lies in how they interpret failure. The unsuccessful see failure as proof that they cannot succeed. The successful see it as guidance on how to succeed. They act on the lessons learned, adjust their systems, and continue moving forward with greater clarity. Each failure becomes a building block, strengthening their methods and increasing the likelihood of long-term success. In essence, failure is not an enemy, but a teacher that delivers the exact information you need to refine your path. The process of analyzing failures, applying lessons, and improving systems creates momentum. Over time, your system becomes more resilient, more effective, and more reliable. When you embrace failure as data, it removes fear, increases confidence, and accelerates your journey toward your goals. Number 20, let systems run your life, not willpower alone. Relying solely on willpower is a trap. Willpower is limited, it fluctuates, and it tires easily. You've felt it before. There are days when motivation is high and everything seems possible. Then there are days when you feel drained, distracted, or simply unwilling to take action. If your success depends only on how motivated you feel in the moment, it will never be consistent. Systems are what make your progress reliable, predictable, and sustainable. They remove the need to rely on temporary spikes of energy or emotion. A system is a structure you build that guides your actions automatically. It's the routine, the process, and the environment you create to ensure progress happens consistently. When your system is strong, it carries you forward, even when willpower is weak. Think of it as the engine that runs your life. Willpower may turn the key, but the system keeps the machine moving day after day, week after week, without fail. The first step is to identify the areas where you rely too much on willpower. Maybe you're trying to exercise every day, but some mornings you just don't feel like it. Maybe you aim to study or work on a project, but procrastination sneaks in whenever motivation dips. These are the moments when a system takes over. When the habit, the schedule, and the environment are aligned, you do what needs to be done, even without feeling like it. Your environment is one of the most powerful parts of a system. Arrange your surroundings so that they support your actions rather than sabotage them. Place the tools, resources, and reminders where they are easily accessible. Remove distractions that tempt you away from your goals. When your environment works for you, your system operates almost automatically, requiring less mental energy and reducing the need to rely on willpower. Consistency is at the heart of systems. Doing a small, effective action every day accumulates into results over time. Systems create habits that become second nature. This means your success doesn't depend on whether you feel motivated today. Instead, it depends on the processes you follow consistently. Each small daily action compounds and eventually produces results that are far beyond what sporadic bursts of willpower could achieve. Planning and organization are critical. A system is only effective if it is intentional and structured. Break your goals into specific, repeatable actions. Assign them to times or triggers that make sense in your daily life. When each step is clearly defined and scheduled, you eliminate uncertainty, which is one of the biggest drains on willpower. You don't debate whether to act, you simply follow the system. Automation can also be a part of your system. This doesn't just mean technology, it can also be routines and habits that run automatically. For example, setting up recurring tasks, automating reminders, or batching similar actions together reduces decision fatigue. Every time you remove a decision from your day, you preserve energy for what truly matters. The system ensures that critical actions happen without needing constant mental effort or motivation. Accountability is another layer of a system. When someone is tracking your progress or holding you responsible, the system strengthens. You are more likely to follow through consistently because the structure of accountability is built into the process. You can use accountability partners, mentors, or even a simple tracking journal to make your system more robust and reliable. Flexibility is important too. Systems should guide you, not trap you. Life is unpredictable and circumstances change. A good system allows for adjustments without losing momentum. It helps you recover quickly when unexpected events occur. You still follow the principles of your system, but you adapt the execution to fit the situation. This balance ensures that progress continues even when challenges arise. The beauty of letting systems run your life is that it frees your mind for higher-level thinking. You no longer spend energy on every small decision or fight constant resistance to take action. Instead, your focus shifts to strategy, creativity, and growth. When systems handle the execution reliably, you can direct your energy where it produces the most value, accelerating your results. Tracking progress is a vital part of any system. Without measurement, you don't know whether your system is effective. Use simple metrics to assess whether your actions are producing results. Review and adjust regularly. When you see what is working and what isn't, you refine your system, making it stronger and more efficient. This keeps your life moving forward consistently rather than relying on fluctuating motivation or fleeting inspiration. Systems also create resilience. Life will test your discipline and motivation will fail. On difficult days, your system becomes the safety net that prevents you from slipping. It ensures that the most important actions are completed regardless of mood or external conditions. This is why successful people consistently outperform others. They have reliable systems that don't rely on willpower alone. Another benefit is that systems built. When you know that your actions are structured, repeatable, and effective, you trust yourself to follow through. This confidence reduces anxiety and self-doubt, making it easier to tackle bigger challenges. Systems give you a framework that supports your goals, so even when obstacles appear, you maintain clarity and control. Finally, the ultimate goal is to integrate systems into every area of your life. From health and fitness to learning, finances, and personal growth, systems allow you to make continuous progress. You stop leaving results to chance or emotion. Instead, you create predictable pathways to success. Systems transform ambition into action, and action into results. The message is simple. Don't rely on willpower alone. Willpower is limited and unreliable. Systems are the foundation of real achievement. Build structures, habits, and routines that ensure your goals are reached consistently. Make progress automatic, measure it, adjust it, and protect it. Over time, these systems compound. Your life becomes more organized, your results more predictable, and your growth unstoppable. Now is the time to take full control of your life. All the motivation in the world won't matter if your actions aren't. Trot guided by a system that moves you forward every single day. The power to achieve your goals, to live the life you've imagined, doesn't come from luck or waiting for the right moment. It comes from the structure you create, the habits you commit to, and the small, consistent actions you take over time. When you apply what you've learned, when you design routines that support your ambitions and follow through with discipline, you will notice a shift becomes inevitable. Success stops being something you chase and starts being something that happens naturally because your life is organized around it. You stop relying on fleeting motivation or random bursts of energy, and you start relying on a system that carries you forward day after day. Remember, every step you take within your system compounds. Every habit you build, every routine you follow, every measurement you track adds up to momentum. The momentum makes the hard days easier. It makes the impossible seem possible. And it keeps you moving toward the life you want. Even when challenges come, your future will not be defined by what you say you want or by the ideas you have. It will be defined by the system you put in place today, by the structure that organizes your actions and ensures your consistency. When you take control of your systems, you take control of your results. Your dreams, your goals, your success, they are all within reach, not because of luck, but because of the powerful framework you choose to build and follow. The decision is yours. Build your system, stick to it, and let it work for you. Allow consistency, discipline, and structure to carry you forward. Focus on your daily actions, not just the end result, and watch as your life transforms in ways you once thought impossible. Success starts with you, but it thrives on the system you create. Start today, follow through every day, and let your future reflect the strength, clarity, and power of the life you've designed.